Good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite historical figures, Leonardo da Vinci. Born in 1452 Italy to unmarried parents, he had a slightly unconventional childhood compared to others of the time. He did not apply himself in school as much as would be expected, and he did not study higher mathematics nor Latin until his 30s. Instead of being expected to follow in his father's footsteps as a notary, he was able to use his freedom to explore and develop his full genius, which he began doing at 15 when he apprenticed an artist in Florence. After his death, his friends bound together his loose scraps of paper containing drawings, ideas, technical diagrams, things he wanted to investigate, and shopping lists into one 7,000-page notebook, which gave an inside look at who he was and how remarkable his curiosity and creativity was throughout his life. We all know him as one of the greatest Renaissance painters, but he was much more than that. Da Vinci was regarded as one of the most talented people of all time, and he was an artist, inventor, musician, architect, engineer, anatomist, botanist, geologist, historian, and cartographer. Often regarded as one of the most talented artists of all time, Da Vinci was an artist during the Renaissance, and his style was derived from aspects of that time period. He was a very innovative artist, using techniques he invented himself, many of which led to styles still widely used today. In his paintings, he often used monochromatic and subtle tones, but was still able to bring light and dark and luminance into his work. He often used oil-based paints instead of the customary water-based paints because it was easier to blend and get the smoky, sfumato effect that he strived for. As seen in most of his famous works, he mostly painted portraits and pieces inspired by religion, which was common of the time. A few of his most famous paintings were the Mona Lisa, The Last Supper, Vitruvian Man, and his final painting, St. John the Baptist. And here I have the Mona Lisa, and Vitruvian Man. Using his artistic ability, he was also able to study anatomy and accurately draw and represent the human body. He created accurate and to scale maps and drew out technical plans as well. He was a curious man. He could do many other things with his artistic ability. Da Vinci was a very curious child, and this personality trait stayed with him into adulthood. Because of his thirst for new knowledge, he was able to use his genius to discover and create things that nobody else had done before. One of his famous works, Vitruvian Man, was accompanied by notes written in mirror script on the ideal human proportions that Roman architect Vitruvius had laid out in a book on architecture from the 1st century BCE. According to the book, the ideal human proportion was one that could fit inside of a circle and a square, which are irreconcilable shapes. Da Vinci was able to take this idea and create a drawing inside of the shapes and make them two superimposable positions so that they would fit. While in Milan in 1506, alongside anatomical proportions, Da Vinci also drew out his studies of birds in flight. Together, these works led to some of his exploratory work, drawings of human flight machines. In the early 16th century, maps were rare and usually inaccurate, and Da Vinci was one of the first people able to accurately map out numerous cities and landscapes. And he actually used some of his cartography endeavors to create an artistic technique called cartographic perspective, and this is seen in a lot of his works in the backgrounds. Many of Da Vinci's works and scientifically engineered inventions weren't built until after his death. Da Vinci invented many aids to warfare during his lifetime, but his legacy consisted of many ideas that came to light after his death as well, many that were long ahead of their time. For part of his life, Da Vinci was employed by the military to create inventions for warfare. Some of these included the diving